Hello everyone, this is Mundan, and today we are going to use the ChatGPT for API testing perspective. You may be working in the API testing already, or you may be the new person to the API testing, or you want to do the automation in API testing. For all these scenarios, we can use the ChatGPT. Let's imagine you are totally new to the API testing. The first question what you might have is, what is API testing? Here you will get the theoretical explanation. At the same time, you will get the different types of API testing. After understanding the basics, then you will be going to the new tool because API testing has to be done with some other tool. Let's say you are starting your API testing as a manual tester. Then obviously you will be looking for the tools which can be doing the manual API testing. Postman obviously, Swagger UI, REST client, curl, SOAP UI. These are the things. Mainly we will use SOAP UI and Postman maximum places. There are other tools also. Let's say after some days you will be doing the automation, or you are required to do the automation testing. So in that scenario, you'll be looking for some of the automation API testing tools or libraries. Again, Postman can be used for the automation also, but only the catch is you need to use the JavaScript in that, and rest assured from the Java side. There are other things, request from Python and JUnit STNG also again, and Karate framework is one of the BDD style framework for the same API testing automation. You might take anything based on your project and your interest. Now, before going to the next one, you will try to understand whenever you go for API testing, you need to have the API schema. This API schema can be given by the developers, but this is a simple understanding about your entire API. It will define each and every part of your API. What kind of request you can make, what would be the output, what would be the response, what would be the examples that you can use, and what kind of content type. Everything will be explained in this. Even if you have some fields which has some ranges, for example, imagine the ID should be 100 to 500. This is the only valid one. So even this can be mentioned in the API schema, and this API schema will be definitely there with the developers. You need to get that. Otherwise, even you can use some requirement document, but better to use the API schema so that you will not miss any requirement from the API. Now go to the next question. Create the manual test cases, including both positive and negative scenarios for the below schema, considering you have the API schema in hand. Shift enter. Now copy paste the schema, enter. Now it's generating the test cases for you. If you are the one who is creating the test cases in the Word document, this would be helpful. But let's say if you are creating in the Excel, then let's ask in the create in tabular format. So now here you can see both positive and negative scenarios has been created, and the steps also has been given an expected outcome. Almost everything is done. Let's go to the next question that we will understand. Imagine your ID should be in the range of 100 to 500, and you need to create the boundary test cases. Now again, it will create the boundary test cases. You can see 100 means it will be looking for 100, 500, 99, 501. Even it will check for the another negative scenario, which is the non-integer. Okay, now we have all the scenarios. Let's imagine you are in the automation field. For this example, I would use the rest assured. If you are using any other libraries or any other tool, you can mention the same. Create rest assured test cases for below API schema with assets, checking the response code, response time, and content type. Later, you can add some more assets also on the demand basis. Give the schema again to make sure that output is perfect. So it is checking for only the basic scenarios. if you want to cover all the scenarios that we have created, again, you need to get that the different types of scenarios in the tabular format or in CSV file, and you can give the same rather than giving the schema directly. In simple words, rather than giving the schema, you can give the scenarios list. Then you can ask the ChatGPT to create the API test cases for you. And here you can see whatever the assets we have requested: status code, content type, and time. Let's imagine you have the API testing. At the same time, your data is in some other external file, can be the CSV file. You want to parameterize all the IDs from the external file, which is the CSV. And for example, even you can do the parameterization in Java by using the data provider. So that's what here I am mentioning. Take ID from the external file and parameterize in the rest assured test cases using the @data provider test and G annotation. And better again, we will give the schema. Let's see without schema what gives it. So base URL, okay, object. Nowhere it is reading from the CSV file, right? There is no reading of CSV file. Hope this time it reads the CSV file. Yes, now this time it's looking good. Go to the data provider. It is reading from the user underscore ID CSV file. And this user ID will be having 123. Okay, that's fine. Then it returning the data, and that will be taken into the another test, which will have the data provider name as user IDs. And here, this is the area where it will read from the external file, and you will be sending the file path. Now looks good. That's fine. Then last but not least, we will ask what are the metrics we need to have when you do the API testing. What are the main metrics and KPIs in API testing? Test coverage, functional testing, security testing, defect metrics. Okay. Maybe it is at very high level. API documentation quality. Okay, here it is. API endpoint coverage, pass or fail rate, test case execution time, response time, throughput, error rate under load. If you are doing the load testing, then these are the metrics: stress testing, API documentation quality, regression testing. Okay, that's good. So in simple words, we have seen how to use the ChatGPT to generate the scenarios by providing the schema. And we have created the different scenarios, including positive and negative scenarios in the tabular format, even in the Word document format. Then we created different automation scenarios, including the different range of values that you can provide using the external file. And let's imagine another scenario. You need to create the test data. Create random ID generator, which generates the value between 100 to 900. This can be utility. It is not directly related to the API testing, but this can be used as a utility method. Yes. Now it is using the Python. If you want in Java, again, you can use the same in Java. Again, you have the another method. So this method can be used inside your automation, or even you can use only this tool to generate the ID, and later you can use it into the manual testing. Hopefully, we have covered the main and basic scenarios in the API testing. In next video, we will see something usability for the ChatGPT, and always be a rainbow in others cloud.